So let's do a couple of midpoint problems. We'll do problem 6 and 7 next. Let's look at problem 6. M is the midpoint of line segment AB. If the measure of AB is equal to 3x minus 11 and the measure of AM is equal to x plus 19, find x and the measure of AB. So let's take a look at this problem through a drawing. It's always very important when you're given this kind of a problem to draw it out. Okay, so M is the midpoint of AB. It gives us a pretty good idea M is going to go in the middle here somewhere, right? Do we know which side of MA is and which side of MB is? No, we don't, and it doesn't really matter for the purposes of this drawing. So when you're given expressions in X, as long as you know the midpoint, you're fine. So this is our line segment AB, and eventually we have to find the measure of AB as well as X. So we're told two things. AB is 3x minus 11. So let me make a little measure over there. 3x minus 11 is the distance from A to B, and the distance from A to M is x plus 19. So let's draw that in here. From A to M is x plus 19. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out how we're going to solve for x. M is the midpoint of AB. Okay, so what we could do is we could draw a notch here and a notch here just to remind us that AM is congruent to MB because the midpoint divides a line segment into two equal parts. Well, there's a few ways we could look at this, but one way to look at it is that if AM is equal to MB, and we know AM is equal to x plus 19, then we know that MB is also equal to x plus 19, whatever that should equal. Okay, so we've got from A to M is x plus 19, and from M to B is another x plus 19. But we know the distance from A to B is 3x minus 11. So if from A to M it's x plus 19 and M to B it's x plus 19, then we've got x plus 19 plus x plus 19. Okay, from here to here and here to here has got to equal to 3x minus 11. So now we've got ourselves an equation that we can work with. Let's group like terms. 2x plus 38 equals 3x minus 11. Let's get the x's on the right side. So let me subtract 2x from both sides, which gives us 38. This canceling out. 3x minus 2x is x minus 11. And then let me add 11 to both sides to get the numbers on the left side. This gives us 49 is equal to x. So we've got our x value. X equals 49, so we're halfway there. What was the other value we were looking for? AB. Well, AB, the measure of AB, which we should just write this way, is equal to 3x minus 11, but we know now x is equal to 49. That would be 3 times 49 minus 11. And let me just take my trusty little calculator here. Let's do that. 49 times 3 minus 11 is 136. So the measure of AB is equal to 136. Okay, good. We're done. It might be a good idea to double check, okay, because we want to make sure we've got the right answer here. And one way to double check, since we used 3x minus 11 to do our calculations, is to plug x into the other expression, which is x plus 19 and x plus 19. Those two should also add up to 136. So let's just take a look at that. X plus 19 is 49 plus 19, okay, which is 68. So this equals 68. Which means this also equals 68. And is 68 plus 68 equal to 136? Yes, it is. So we've been able to double check our answer. I think if you have the time, it's always a good idea to try to double check your answer to make sure you didn't make like a silly kind of math mistake, which we know happens sometimes. Let's look at question number 7. M is the midpoint of AB. So let's just start off the bat. Let's draw that. Okay, so we know again M is going to be somewhere in the middle. Oops, okay, so wrong. Okay, so you see this is one of the problems, is we've got a coordinate plane here. We don't have a number line. And you know what? Normally I would just redo this video, but I'm not going to redo this video because I want to show you that we all make mistakes. Okay, as soon as I read that now we've got XY coordinates, that means I've got to change gears. Okay, so I just moved to a different part of my paper, and now I know I've got to plot 2 points on an XY plane. So let me kind of do this approximately. A is positive 3 and negative 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let me put it about over there. 3 comma negative 9. That would be A. And B is 7 comma 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like this. And I would suggest that if you had this question on a test, that you do something like this. You sketch some rough approximation. Okay. We are now told that M is the midpoint of AB. So let me go ahead and draw a line between these two. Actually, let me see. I can't find my protractor, so I'm going to use just the side of the calculator to draw the line. From there to there, approximately. Okay, and now we're going to find the midpoint of that line, which I'll just represent as a point about over there. I don't know what the coordinates are. We'll call it M. We are supposed to find the coordinates of M. Okay, now we can't really do this graphically, but what we can see is that approximately the coordinate of M will probably be something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 to 6, comma, negative 3, something like that. I might guess 5, negative 2, or negative 3 just by guesstimating. So let's say I'm thinking it's going to be around 5, negative 2, just as a guess, just on the basis of my rough diagram. I promise you I have not worked out this problem yet. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to work it out. We're going to work it out according to the formula that we learned, which is that the midpoint, M, is equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Okay, so this, I'll just arbitrarily call this x1 and y1, and this one I'll call arbitrarily x2 and y2. Okay, so let's plug it in. Let's plug our numbers in. So M equals x1 plus x2. x1 is 3. x2 is 7 divided by 2. y1. y1 is negative 9. y2 is positive 7. So negative 9 plus 7 divided by 2. So let's find out what we actually really get. M equals 10 over 2, comma, negative 9 plus 7 is negative 2 over 2. We get M equals 5, comma, negative 1. So this is the correct answer. This was a guesstimate. That's why we put a little approximation here. And I was just guessing based on my very rough diagram. But how did I do? Not bad, right? Okay, it's one off on the y-coordinate, and it was right on completely on the x-coordinate. So if I had gotten a totally different number down here, and my guesstimate was this, then I might have wondered, did I make a mistake? I might go back and double check. I still should check if I have time, but the fact that the actual value is pretty close to my guesstimate based on my drawing sort of supports the fact that I'm probably right. Okay,